Hi, my name is Ann Lane from Conscious Preconception, where I help couples build their health, increase their strength and energy to have the healthiest baby possible and the smoothest postnatal period, all due to preparing for their pregnancy. So, in this week's topic, we're going to talk about things you can do to prevent morning sickness, or if you are already pregnant, what you can do to reduce the amount of morning sickness and nausea that you're suffering from. So let's dive right into this week's topic because it's really important. I recently was working with a client and she asked this question: Anne, when you get pregnant, I hear all these horror stories about women being sick on end. Does it have to be that way? And I'm here to say, no, it doesn't have to be. In fact, in the 1950s, there were studies done on this, and many doctors at that point in time recommended that pregnant women take vitamin C and vitamin E, and we know now that these are very powerful antioxidants. The science has gone beyond that, though. Those are kind of basic recommendations. What I have found is that women who have not prepared properly for pregnancy, it's kind of a tongue twister, is that they're quite low in their minerals and their vitamins. So their overall nutritional status is quite low. How can you know if your status is low or not? First of all, you need to get tested. Test, don't guess. You can do that quite simply with a hair mineral analysis. There are some really fancy blood tests that can be done, but not at a regular doctor's office. These are blood tests that actually look into the cells of your body to see what kind of vitamins and minerals, macro and micronutrients you have. You don't have to go the expensive route. Go with a hair mineral analysis. That's the cheaper way and can also work quite well. You may say, Anne, I have a fantastic diet, I eat really well, I exercise. That's all fine and dandy, but we're all exposed to certain toxicants, and those toxicants will remove additional nutrients out of our body. For instance, a very common one is coffee. Coffee leaches calcium out of your body, so quite easily, if you drink a decent amount of coffee a day, you're just going to have a larger need to increase your calcium intake. So what does this have to do with morning sickness? What's the deal with vitamins, minerals, supplements, and morning sickness? Well, it's been shown that if you're low in magnesium, which 80% of the population in Western countries, they are low in magnesium, or if you're low in vitamin B6, you're more likely to suffer from morning sickness. What's the answer? Increase your stores of magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin B6 before you even get pregnant, and you'll be less likely to suffer from morning sickness. So at this point, you may be saying, Anne, that's fine and dandy, but I'm already pregnant. What can I do about it then? Well, I've got you covered with my next tip, and that is use magnesium spray. If you cannot take a supplement right now because you're really suffering from morning sickness, you can use a spray anywhere on your body. I do recommend on thinner skin, as the inside of your arms or on your upper chest. It's just easier to absorb that way, but you can also use other parts of your body. But take it from me, please do not ever use magnesium oil where you've just shaven. Legs, not a good idea. That aside, you can use magnesium oil. Your body will absorb what it needs, and it will simply not absorb the rest. And you can use magnesium oil safely on a daily basis. Other vitamins may be a bit tricky. For example, if you find that you're taking your omega-3s and your body is not too happy with that, you can take some vitamins, for example, oil-based ones, the omega-3s. You can put them in your freezer and then take a frozen version, and often that is something that goes down quite well, quite easily, and you can digest it. So that's another tip for you. Freeze your supplements or take your magnesium oil if you need to. All right, another tip that I have for you is using food to help support you, but not solid food. If you're suffering from morning sickness, it can be that you just can't eat anything at all for a while. That's all right. What you can do is take bone broth. I do recommend you make your own bone broth based on chicken bones, and you boil them in a pot for 24 hours. You add onions and leeks and other fun stuff. And then you can also add a bit of apple cider vinegar that will leach more minerals from the bones. And then you sip it as if it were a cup of tea anytime throughout the day. So when you're not feeling well, you can still be getting really good nutrition and collagen and lots of potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, a whole bunch of fun stuff from bone broth without ever having eaten. So even just a little bit that stays down before you get ill, you know that you're still getting some of your nutritional needs met. And it actually can help you make you feel better. And what I really like about bone broth, it's wonderful for healing your gut, which will help you absorb more nutrients during your pregnancy in the first place. So bone broth is a great one while pregnant or in the preconception phase to help heal your gut, increase your minerals in your body, and just, it gives you great hair and nails to begin with. So why not? So my next tip is working with your meridians. If you are suffering from nausea, for any reason, it can be motion sickness, maybe you're on a boat. Some of you might be familiar with the motion sickness bracelets that are available. They're making use of an acupuncture point on the pericard meridian. And how you find it is you take your wrist and with your other hand, 3 fingers, you put them just over the wrist, and then the next spot right between the tendons, that is pericard 6, and you can hold that, and it's a great spot for morning sickness or any type of nausea, and it is safe during pregnancy. And this spot, of course, is on both sides of your arms. So you can hold for that for a while and feel your nausea dissipate or be eliminated completely. The other tip is in the preconception phase, which I talk about in my courses and also with my clients, is working with the energy in your body, particularly your stomach meridian, to help ensure that the energy does continue to flow in a downward direction and not back upward, which is what causes nausea and TCM. Okay, so my next tip for you today is to eat on a regular basis. I know there are many different diets out there. There's intermittent fasting to, lots of stuff. I'm not even going to get into that. When you are trying to get pregnant, this is not the time to do intermittent fasting. You want your body to be receiving a steady flow of nutrients. You want your cortisol levels to remain low, and that means 3 meals a day, and for some people, a few more. When you're pregnant and suffering from morning sickness, this isn't always possible. So then the techniques that we need to use is just to use little bits of food. Sometimes you can eat a little bit that will help to absorb the stomach acid, which is making you very uncomfortable. And that doesn't matter if it's gluten-free crackers with a little, some type of bread spread on it, or what I recommend is almonds. Almonds seem to work quite well, and women suffering from morning sickness often need to have a handful of almonds the night before in order to calm their system and to actually have some type of energy that can be used overnight while they're sleeping, and it prevents them from getting ill the next day. So yay, almonds. So that's all I have for you this week. My name is Ann Lane from Conscious Preconception. If you have any questions, if you're wondering about more information about what you can do before you even get pregnant to help you have the healthiest baby possible, stay tuned, subscribe. Subscribe is either here or here or here, and I'll keep you up to date. Have a great week, everyone, and wish you all the best for a healthy, happy baby.